Safi Haidar Jannat.
At the onset of this winter, we had two unusual but beautiful visitors. A pair of pigeons had made the sill of our bedroom window their resting place. Seeing them, my wife remarked, "The female has come here to lay eggs." I didn't argue, as I never underestimated her power of instinct, and especially in these matters, she has an uncanny ability to speculate. She was absolutely right. In a couple of days, we found 2 eggs on the windowsill, duly protected by the straws and grass that the pair had brought. What struck me was the devotion and dedication with which the male and female took their turns to sit and hatch the eggs. In 3 weeks' time, 2 cute chicks came out, and in another 3 weeks, they grew up and flew away. Contest master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, good evening.
Good evening.
I realized then that like humans, birds too get attached to their offspring even before they are born. It reminded me of the trials and tribulations that my wife underwent. After 4 miscarriages in equal number of years, when the pregnancy of my wife progressed into 12th week, we started building our expectations. However, when she was in her 16th week, she lost 80% of the amniotic fluid, and the doctors advised us to abort, since the chances of baby's survival were very slim, and they were afraid of abnormalities in the child, if at all born. But my wife was not prepared for that. She begged her aunt, a gynecologist in India, to do something to save the child. She in turn mustered up all her knowledge, experience, resources, and more importantly, the will and courage to go against the advice of other doctors. On the other hand, my wife did not lose hope and faced the situation courageously. She complied with whatever was ordered, ate whatever was prescribed, and spent full 4 months confined to her bed. Not an easy job. Our prayers were answered, her perseverance was paid off, and our first child, Mariam, was born after 7 years of our marriage. An apple of our eyes, she turned 12 last week. Before Mariam turned 1, my wife conceived again, to the chagrin and annoyance of her aunt and other doctors, since such an early pregnancy after that complicated one was not desirable. In fact, an elderly physician who is a friend of my wife's family was sharpening his knife to slaughter me for being so reckless. Men are usually blamed for these matters. My wife prepared herself to experience the joys of motherhood once again. Things moved very calmly until she was in her 24th week. One fateful night, she woke up due to severe abdominal pain, and the doctors found out that the pain was related to appendicitis. Seeing the enormity of pain, they suggested to operate and remove the appendicitis. But that meant a stillborn child. We were again caught in a dilemma. As first line of treatment, her aunt administered some oral medicine to test the pain-bearing capacity of my wife. They even tried alternative medicine and home remedies. We don't know for sure which medicine did it help, or simply my wife had stretched her pain-bearing capacity enormously. After 10 weeks of fearful and anxious moments, our second child, Taha, was born. Although much weaker than Maryam when born, he now overpowers her at his will. For us, these two episodes prove nothing but triumph of hope over despair, and they are an epitome of love and sacrifice of mothers for their children. I am sure all of the parents sitting in this lovely audience must have done different things at different times to ensure good health, happiness, well-being, and safety of their children. In this harsh winter, many of you must be going into their rooms to make sure that they are adequately covered and protected, and making them wear warmer clothes when they go outside. Sometimes we even overdo it. Whenever I express my fear of losing them when they will grow older and have their own family life, my wife consoles me and says, "Don't worry, dear. By then, you will get attached to their kids." It's so true. My parents and that of my wife crave to spend time with our children. Perhaps it's nature's unique way to keep us closely attached to our offspring, and thus the innate desire to procreate, reproduce, and more importantly, protect our progeny. Back.